Space travel is always an adventure, and on November 27, 2025, the world watched as a Soyuz 2.1A rocket lifted off from Baikonur Cosmodrome, Kazakhstan. The Soyuz MS-28 spacecraft carried 3 explorers to the International Space Station, soaring through a flawless blue sky. The launch was textbook: flames, smoke, and a rocket climbing higher, cheered on by families and engineers worldwide. At 12:28 p.m. Moscow time, the rocket began its ascent, a symbol of international cooperation and years of dedication. The Soyuz performed perfectly, pushing through the atmosphere and sending its crew over 250 miles above Earth. Mission Control celebrated as the spacecraft entered orbit, everything seemingly on track. But as the excitement faded, an unexpected story began to unfold back on the ground. The launch pad, which had just supported this historic mission, was hiding a serious problem. From the outside, everything looked normal, but once the smoke cleared, ground crews discovered significant damage. The rocket's engines had unleashed forces that the launch complex couldn't withstand. What looked like a flawless launch was now overshadowed by a hidden crisis. This surprise would soon challenge Russia's space program and its international partners. The adventure was just beginning. While trouble brewed on the ground, the Soyuz MS-28 crew was safe and focused on their mission. 2 Russian cosmonauts and a NASA astronaut experienced weightlessness as they entered orbit, their training kicking in for every maneuver. The Soyuz performed a series of precise engine burns, gradually catching up to the International Space Station. Hours after launch, the crew glimpsed their destination, a bright structure against the blackness of space. Docking required both automated and manual control, but the connection was flawless. With a gentle bump, the Soyuz was attached to the ISS. The crew floated through the hatch, greeted by colleagues with hugs and handshakes. Spirits were high. The new arrivals brought fresh energy and a new chapter of research. Their safe arrival was a testament to the Soyuz's reliability, even as the ground infrastructure faced a crisis. The mission in space was a success, but the real challenge was now on Earth. As the crew settled into orbit, news from Baikonur turned serious. Inspections of Site 31 revealed troubling damage, far beyond normal wear and tear. Roscosmos confirmed significant harm to the launch pad, hinting at a major problem. Satellite images and photos showed a collapsed service cabin, a vital part of the launch tower. Debris had fallen into the flame trench, a critical failure for the pad's infrastructure. The shockwave rippled through the space community. A key piece of the launch system had failed. The successful launch was now overshadowed by the reality of a broken foundation. The ground that sent the crew to space was now a major obstacle. The triumph in orbit was matched by crisis on Earth. To understand the crisis, let's look closer at Launch Pad 31. Experts noticed something odd during the launch broadcast: a massive metal structure visible in the gas exhaust tray. This shouldn't have been there. It suggested a piece of the launch complex broke off during liftoff. Analysts confirmed the service cabin had collapsed, with debris falling under the pad. The flame trench, meant to channel exhaust, was now blocked, a dangerous situation. The damage centered on core support structures, not just cosmetic issues. These steel and concrete elements are built to endure extreme conditions, so their failure signals a deep problem. Maintenance and inspection protocols are now under scrutiny. For Russia's space program, this is more than a maintenance issue. It's a blow to operational capability. Without a safe launch pad, missions are grounded. The damage isn't a quick fix. It demands investigation, repairs, and rigorous testing. The path forward will be costly and time-consuming. The future of Russian spaceflight depends on restoring Pad 31. Why does Pad 31 matter so much? It's Russia's only certified launch pad for crewed Soyuz missions to the ISS. Every Russian cosmonaut and many international astronauts have launched from here. With Gagarin's start retired, Pad 31 is irreplaceable. Without it, Russia can't send crews to space, creating a bottleneck for human spaceflight. Pad 31 also launches Progress cargo ships, vital for ISS supplies and Russian hardware. If it's out of commission, the ISS supply chain is disrupted. This single point of failure exposes a major vulnerability in Russia's space infrastructure. The pressure is on to repair and recertify this essential gateway to space. After the incident, two narratives emerged. Roscosmos downplayed the damage, promising swift repairs and projecting confidence. Official statements focused on the crew's safe journey, sidestepping the ground failure. Independent experts, however, called the damage critical, pointing to the collapsed service cabin and blocked flame trench. They warned repairs would be complex and lengthy, grounding launches for months. The truth likely lies between official optimism and expert warnings. For the first time in over 60 years, Russia's independent access to space was in jeopardy. The world watched to see how quickly the pad could be restored. The damage at Pad 31 ripples across the global space community. All upcoming Soyuz and Progress launches are on hold, including crew rotations and cargo flights to the ISS. The ISS relies on a careful schedule of international launches. Russian Progress ships deliver essential propellant. US cargo vehicles can't supply the same propellant, so delays could challenge ISS operations. Crew rotations are also at risk, with the Soyuz system grounded and future missions uncertain. NASA's Crew Dragon can help, but redundancy is key to the ISS partnership. SpaceX may need to fly more missions to keep the station staffed. The roles have reversed. After years of US reliance on Soyuz, Russia may now depend on American partners. This event highlights how interconnected space programs are, and how one failure can affect everyone. The ISS's future depends on international cooperation and adaptability. The world is watching how partners respond. The Baikonur crisis tests the ISS partnership like never before. For over 2 decades, astronauts and cosmonauts have worked side by side, transcending politics. Now, with Russia's launch capability paused, NASA and SpaceX must shoulder crew transport. Partners must reschedule missions, adjust assignments, and keep the ISS operational. This mutual dependence is the program's strength, resilience in the face of setbacks. Years of trust and shared protocols will be crucial. How the partners respond will shape the future of space collaboration. The ISS's mission depends on teamwork and adaptability. Russia's path forward starts with a thorough investigation into Pad 31's failure. Engineers must analyze debris, review records, and find the root cause, whether design flaw, material failure, or maintenance lapse. Repairs will be a major engineering project, clearing debris, fabricating new components, and rigorous testing. Safety is paramount. A rushed job isn't an option. The timeline could stretch for months or longer. This incident is a wake-up call for investing in and modernizing space infrastructure worldwide. Launch pads are complex systems that need constant upkeep. The successful Soyuz launch showed resilience, but the damage is a problem that can be solved. The international community will adapt, keeping the ISS mission alive. Even as we reach for the stars, our foundations on Earth must remain strong.